Hey fam, what's up, what's up, what's up? This is Robert Anton, robertanton.com. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god! I erased all of my notes from X Factor watching the presidential debate. Oh god! Yes, fam, it is true. I did erase all my notes, but I had to go back and rebuild them, even though I didn't get exactly, you know, when you do something the first time, you don't always remember every single thing that you did that I was doing while I was watching, but I did the best that I could, and I am going to bring you your commentary for X Factor. It was boot camp tonight, day 1 of boot camp, and they started out showing people packing and leaving to head out from Miami and everything, and the auditions. There was a lot of tears going on. I'm like, why y'all crying? You're supposed to be happy. You're supposed to be happy about that. You made it to boot camp, but you know, especially the moms and stuff, you know, were crying and everything, sending the kids away or whatever. Oh yeah. So they had 120 acts come from around the country for boot camp, and they put them up in a swanky beachside hotel. You know, they were living the life, and Demi said, oh, it's because we wanted them to see, you know, what kind of life they'd be living, you know, if they, you know, won the show and all that good stuff, whatever. 120 acts, and at the end of day 1, they're going to cut it in half. So how are they going to go about cutting it in half? They are going to have a challenge each day. And today was the first challenge, and it was basically just they had to pick a song and sing it in front of everybody. Now remember, they have sang in front of the big audiences, but they haven't sang in front of the rest of the contestants, which could be harrowing. And it was for most of them. They were so nervous, especially as they saw such great people coming up and really nailing it. A lot of people were nervous. But first up, we had Diamond White, 13 years old. She decided she was going to do some Whitney Houston. She did. I have nothing, and let me tell you, she started us out and showed everybody how to do it at 13, okay? She added in some nice alternative melody notes as she started out. She really hit the big notes nicely. LA said it was a great version of the song, and Demi said she's amazing, and she really was just very, very good. I saw some little bitty, you know, heard some little bitty things here and there, but she was amazing. For a 13-year-old doing a Whitney Houston song, she blew it out of the park. Now, during this segment, I don't know where this came, but I remember, and I put it on Twitter, so I did look at my Twitter notes to see what was going on. Britney was mean mugging, like making faces at just about everybody, almost the whole show. I don't know what was wrong with her, I don't know what was going on, but she had on a stank face today. Maybe she was, I didn't want to go there, girls. I didn't want to go there, but you know what I was about to say. Jessica Espinoza was up. She did When You Believe, Whitney Mariah. She got a warm reception from the judges. You know, oh, I remembered her. And it was like, oh, you're the only one that I remember their first and last name. And some of the other contestants were like looking like, you know, whatever. And she started out pretty good, but she got louder and rougher as she went along. And it sounded to me like she'd been over rehearsing, maybe not had enough rest or whatever, maybe, you know, excitement, nerves and all that good stuff, and she was just sounding strained and everything. She did okay, but again, she just sounded strained. She didn't sound as good as she did the first time. Demi said she was really disappointed and that she wasn't as good as she remembered. Jennel Garcia did Sweeter by Gavin, and she was coming on very strong and sexy in this performance. She was doing her thing. That's what it was. She was just doing what she does. She sounded good, but she was working the stage and looking good, and the other girls are like looking at her like, you know, they weren't feeling it at all. I thought she did a wonderful job. LA called her very spicy, you know, and most of these comments now I'm talking about are things that are like, they're saying, as they're not telling the contestants, but they're saying it back and forth to each other, so the contestants supposedly don't hear it, you know, or it's an overdub or whatever, but whatever it is, the contestants aren't hearing what they're saying about them. Then they had a run of contestants were just cracking under the pressure. You know, they were running all these clips about, oh my God, everybody's so good. Oh my God, I'm so nervous. La la la. And they showed a bunch of people who messed up. I had a long list of them on my original notes, but I didn't have that. I couldn't remember all their names and everything. But I do remember that Trevor Moran, our young guy who did Sexy I Know It, he did Nicki Minaj. He did Nicki Minaj Starships, and see, I just remember that. I didn't write it down, but it just wasn't good. You know, the vocal wasn't good, and he was doing his thing, you know, trying to, but it just, and the judges were saying, you know, ooh, it wasn't, And Jordan Foley, our young Tomorrow girl who did Annie the last time, she did not do very well at all. Her words didn't sound good to me at all. Next, Vino Alan did Bad Company by Bad Company. I didn't know anything about this song. I looked that up, let me tell you. I just really love the sound of his voice, and he was solid with all the emotion and everything. He was just there, he was present, he was ready to do his thing. He did it, and it was just great. I really enjoyed it. Britney said she thought he was good, but it wasn't like, oh my God. Simon says he's got a really good voice. Then Tara Simon came up. She did it. I want to tell you exactly because I remember what I wrote here. Tara Simon got up and did it how it's supposed to be done, in my opinion. She brought her voice. She had serious passion. She even fell to her knees at one point and probably showed the judges a little panty, as Simon told her at the end. It was rough and it was sexy, and she was performing for the judges and the contestants. And I was like, go girl, because she was attacking it like it should be attacked in a do or die situation. Listen, you give your all at this point because half of the people are going home, and she did just that. None of the contestants, I don't know was the editing or not, but after she finished, you didn't hear any clapping at all from any of the contestants. And then Simon was like, oh, you know, you probably showed us a little more when you're going to watch this back. You showed us a little more than you thought you did. But I thought she was wonderful. I didn't notice in the crowd if she was kept or not, but I'd be surprised if she wasn't. Then they showed several male groups, and to me they all looked and sounded pretty good, but I was wondering where were the girl groups, because they didn't show any of the girl groups. And to finish out the boy group kind of melange, they did Emblem 3, gave them much more FaceTime than they gave the other guys. They got to do, you know, a nice little bit of song, and they sounded okay. You know, they were like, you know, two of them who were trying to get their harmonies when they were doing background were like had their ear because they're trying to hear their self. But the front guy was just boom, present. He was there, he was doing his thing, and it was really, really pretty decent. Really pretty decent for me. Next up was Willie Jones, and he did She Thinks My Tractor's Sexy by Kenny Chesney. And they showed quite a few of the girls' eyebrows going up, you know, as he started the song. And they were kind of like, what? You know, this black guy doing country, what's up with this? You know, and he had a nice voice, a nice rich low tone and everything like that going on. And it looked to me, a few of the guys, and I saw a few of the guys in the background who do country were looking at him like, oh, all right, now you're doing pretty good. So that was giving him a little props there. I thought he did very well on this. I don't know the song, but I thought he represented himself well. One thing Britney said, she said she's not a fan, even though Simon said he loves him. But Britney was saying that, you know, he's best down in the lower range, you know, and when he's in his natural voice, he's not as good. She didn't think he was as good. And I don't know, that's kind of a what you like and what you don't like thing to me. I think that he did pretty good throughout, but you know, you can't help but your eyes up when it's da 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 da. You know, when you hit that note low really, really good, and he did have, bam, he hit that low. Every time he hit it, he made sure he showed you this is what I got. So that's probably what she was saying. Paige Thomas did I Will Always Love You by Whitney Houston, and she seemed just a little shaky to me on this, especially when she started. She had a nice sound, but it was just, like I said, it was just a little shaky. It wasn't altogether there. It wasn't, you know, I was hoping that she was going to be able to bring more. And as she got into the bigger parts of the song, I thought she did very good. So what I think the problem is on the lighter, softer notes, she has a little trouble, you know, but a lot of us have a lot more. When you get into the power things, the power vocals, a lot of people can power through stuff and sound really good and have that really big sound. But the hard thing is getting down into that really light, soft, controlled voice. And that's really difficult. I don't think she's quite mastered that yet. And for our last performance of the night, CeCe Frey, F-R-E-Y, also did I Will Always Love You. And, you know, they were doing the same song, and everybody's like, oh, you know, kind of all that good stuff. And LA was like, oh, we got a sing-off, you know, like that. So when she got up, she was kind of flirting with Simon, you know, because he wasn't there for her original audition. She's like, oh, Louis was very nice, but, you know, I'm glad to finally meet you and all that good stuff. You know she's a drama girl. So She had to give it. She got to give it no matter what she do, right? So she was more comfortable in the beginning of the song. She has that control of her nice soft tone, and it was very sweet and subtle, and she brought it. She did her own little flourishes and things were very good. The big note was dead on and commanding. You know, she sung it like, I know I've got this. She just, bam, it was right there, and she just gave it. So I was really, really enjoying that, and I felt like she was solid pretty much to the end. I wrote, I love to dislike this girl because she is that kind of diva person. You know, it's like, I know I got, but the only great thing that is redeeming her at this point is she actually has the voice to back it up. She really is something. She's really got it. You know, she's really got the voice and control of her voice. So, you know, if she becomes the diva, you know, she becomes the big working diva. And I don't know that it's so much, it's just that she seems to have so much competitiveness about what she's doing. And she's not hiding it from anybody. I'm very competitive. Y'all better watch y'all back, you know, pretty much. And X Factor is using that, and I think they're going to keep her around quite a while just from that kind of thing, but also because she is backing it up with her performance. Simon said one of them nailed it. If you saw these two performances, tell me who you thought nailed it. The judges then went to fight over who was staying and who was going. Then they called 3 separate groups. Now in the commercials and everything and the previews, it looked like they only called 2 groups. So they tried to fake us out, right? So they called 3 separate groups, and you know, the first group, they all made it. The second group, they didn't make it. The third group, they all made it. And I had a few lists of people who had made it in each group and who hadn't made it, but of course I don't have that because I rebuild my notes and I can't pick out faces or anything like that. So you'll just have to wait until tomorrow night to find out who actually made it and who didn't. I do know, and I definitely remember, that both of the I Will Always Love You girls, Paige and CeCe, both did make it through. And our young people, Jordan and Trevor, did not make it through. That's all I got to say about that. This is Robert Anton, RobertAnton.com. I did my best on this commentary. Please thumb it up if you enjoyed it, and if you enjoyed the show, and tell me if you watched the presidential debate. Alright, I'm out. Peace.